go get my baby for the app.
That's right. You got it.
When most people picture birth, they don't normally think of residential streets, bedrooms, and plastic tubs. But for certified professional midwife Jennifer Lucas O'Brien and expectant mothers in the U.S. choosing home birth, normal takes on a totally new meaning.
The midwifery model of care, it's about trusting birth as a normal physiological process. It's about trusting a mother to be a part of the decision making.
For an increasing number of expectant mothers, being in their home environment sets the stage for this kind of shared decision making. And for Dee Peifer, giving birth in her home comes with other benefits as well.
This is number 7 for us. So we've had a girl, a boy, 2 girls, and then twin girls. So we had our first 3 in the hospital. And they were not bad births. They weren't what I wanted.
What Dee wanted was simple: a healthy, comfortable environment, something she wasn't finding in a hospital.
This is here, this is home. I remember walking into the hospital, you kind of feel sick. You don't mean it's where sick people are. And I still remember thinking, I wouldn't want to bring my kids in here.
Giving birth at home also allows her children to be a part of the process, learning firsthand how labor naturally plays out, or even getting a hands-on anatomy lesson.
This is the side that was up against Josh. This went to his belly button.
The big thing is that
All right.
midwives teach,
And then
and they explain why.
inside of his
It's not
balloon
just
sac.
because I said so, it's the why behind things. And I want my girls to know that this is a normal thing.
Take him out, yes. Push him out.
David and Shirley Yoder share a similar attitude, preferring the comfort of home to the hospital. Also contributing to their decision is the fact that they are Mennonite, a religious faith that historically uplifts non-medical interventions.
In that vulnerable time of life, it feels more safe to me, I guess, than being in a hospital maybe where there's more pressure to do things that you're not sure about.
And for others, such as Mike and Mila Conway, the intimacy and comfortability associated with midwifery drew them to home birth.
Biggest takeaway from the visits are just the intimacy and the actual concern, not, okay, go sit in this chair so we can process your card and then prick your finger.
Jennifer claims that this holistic, intimate relationship has practical health benefits as well.
I can be a part of their lives, so we can look at the whole woman. That way we know what's normal for her. We're talking about what's healthy for her and what's abnormal. So it's easier to recognize when things are not exactly the norm for pregnancy and childbirth itself. And she learns a lot of that.
Some medical professionals, however, such as Dr. Catherine Imgrund, an obstetrician and gynecologist at Prisma Health in Columbia, South Carolina, hold serious concerns about the safety of home birth.
I am very, very cautious about home birth because, again, I think it's a wonderful thing if it happens without any hitches. But it also feels to me like we're playing a little bit with like a loaded gun.
The consensus among obstetricians is that when things go well, they go very well. But when things do go wrong, they can quickly become catastrophic, and that narrative is not often publicized.
What I have found in talking with other colleagues is that if a home birth doesn't go well, there is not a lot of transparency about it to their clients, to the websites, to other things. And so there's a bit of a false sense that everything's going to be completely fine without disclosure of risks.
And the risks are evident. A recent study from the New England Journal of Medicine found that home births in developed nations have a hospital transfer rate of 10 to 17%. And the perinatal death rate for home birth in the U.S., while rare, is still 2.4 times more likely to occur than planned in-hospital birth. But for expectant parents who are more concerned by the significantly higher use of interventions associated with the hospital, where a woman is 20 times more likely to be medically induced and 4 times more likely to receive a C-section, the risks of home birth may seem worth taking. And it's for this reason that the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists released a committee opinion in 2017 identifying critical factors that contribute to achieving favorable home birth outcomes. The first is the safe and timely transport to the hospital in the rise of an emergency.
Time is blood for the mom, and time is oxygen for a baby. If things go south, those are not 2 things that I want to mess with.
The second is the selection of properly assessed, low-risk candidates. When this is not the case, events may ensue like the one described in this text chain from a resident OBGYN at UNC Chapel Hill's Medical Teaching Hospital, who had to care for a patient who, in her words, should have never been birthing at home in the first place as she was morbidly obese.
If it's a fourth-time mom who's had 3 uncomplicated vaginal deliveries and she wants to do it at home, that's a wonderful scenario. I think that's great and likely to be successful.
Lastly, a woman needs to be under the care of a licensed and qualified midwife. And when it comes to qualification, midwives who have completed years of rigorous training, education, national board exams, and received state licensure want to make one thing very clear.
You'll find a trigger word for midwives is calling us lay midwives. Especially in South Carolina, we're licensed midwives. A lay person is someone who is unskilled, untrained, uneducated.
This has been a major source of tension between midwives and obstetricians in the past, seen by this early 20th century smear campaign in which obstetricians publicly denounced midwives for using filthy practices.
Once you instill in 2-3 generations that midwives are not professional, they're not educated, it takes a long time for people to start rethinking that.
And part of the rethinking happening now is the desire from both the midwifery and obstetric communities to have increased collaboration with each other.
I would love to have more collaboration with midwives in a way that was satisfactory to them and to us, where we knew the patients, they knew the patients, we could back them up, they do their thing for low-risk deliveries, and we're there just in case they need us. I think that would be wonderful.
And while they may not agree on where that collaboration should take place, perhaps a starting point is what they do agree upon.
Happy mom, safe baby. Happy mom actually comes after safe mom and safe baby.
And for Dee Peifer, she was able to have both.
Get us a towel.
It's his birthday. Happy birthday, little brother.